Hey guys. So today, this week, week 9, I want to talk about the life you had to end to. When people hear about child loss, they just simply think about the fact that your child is gone. Right? Simple enough statement. Sorry. That your child is gone. And that is devastating enough in itself. But people don't understand that when your child, I don't like this word, when your child dies, it's not only their life on this side of heaven that ended too. The life that you had ended too. Doesn't mean that your life, your love ended. It does not mean that your motherhood, parenthood ended. I mean, the life that you had while you were still actively living with them. The life where you were teaching them. Sorry, guys, I don't feel good. The life that you were teaching them, helping them, guiding them, praying for them, and believing that there was still more time ahead. That life is shattered in a moment. And one of the cruelest parts about that kind of life is what happens next. The world does not stop, even though it stopped for you. Doesn't gently let you pause and wait and try to understand what just happened. It doesn't. It immediately starts requiring things from you. Things that no parent should ever have to do. Especially that soon. And I want to be clear about what I mean by that. I'm talking about the cruelty of being the one who has to start canceling your child out of the world that you're in. That moment, those moments. In the very beginning, while you're still in shock, still traumatized, still barely able to breathe under the weight of everything that just happened. You, me, are forced to make the calls. You alone are the one who has to contact the places that your child's life was connected to. You're the one who has to call office after office, company after company, business after business, person after person, that your child is not going to be needing your services, your account, your insurance, the job, all of it, driver's license, social security number, cell phone, payments. Your child is not going to be needing that because they're not alive anymore. And it's not because nobody cares. I mean, they're not trying to be impersonal, but they're not grieving with you. But because a record has to be updated, a file has to be closed, a child's name has to be removed from their system. And there is something deeply brutal about that. Because the same child that you raised, same child that you taught, the same child you helped learn about life, the same child that you taught about money, bills, responsibility, driving, adulthood, and how to move through this world. And when you spent years, all of their life, trying to build and show them the right way to build it. And now, in the very earliest moments, instead of helping them build a life and keep that life going and teaching them how to talk to certain people to get things accomplished, you are forced, not asked, not gently guided into it, not helped. You are now forced to help the world erase their place in it. It's not just paperwork to you. It is trauma on top of trauma. It is a parent being forced to repeat the worst truth of their life to people who only need the information to type it into a screen to update a system. But this is your child. But to the system, it's just an update. And that disconnect is very, very cruel. I remember not even just a couple of days before I lost my son. He was trying to update his insurance and stuff at work because they messed up on his birthday, right? He didn't know how to do it, right? He was only 23. I was teaching him. So he's out on the floor from the garage just a few days before. He sat on the floor of the garage, had the phone on speaker, right? Because he always wanted to make sure that he was saying the right thing, sounding like an adult, right? Being confident. Where I would just like whisper to him, right? Just whisper and tell him what to say or write it down on a notepad, right? And say, ask this question. Ask that question. We had confidence in what he was doing, right? Helping him just a few days before in our garage. And then just a few days after, I was having to call those same people back to update the system again. Except this time my son wasn't with me. People often think about grief as just the crying, missing them, the funeral, the heartbreak. They don't always understand the violence that follows you, that haunts you, that keeps you awake at night. They don't understand that because you can't explain it. They don't understand having to say out loud over and over and over again that your child is gone while your mind and every single thing attached is not even believing that sentence yourself. Until you have had to pick up the telephone 100 times, one crushing call after another, and say, I need to talk to you about my son. And then tell you the relationship, give them all their personal information. And then be in the conversation of, well, I need them on the phone to be able to have access to their account. And then you tell them the reason why they can't be on the phone. Can't make that phone call from heaven. Right? So you have had to do that. You don't know what that does to a person. Right? I mean, I'm on customer service, right? I do customer service jobs for insurance and stuff. So I'm on that side, right? Entering in that information, taking down the information because their spouse has passed away. So I know. I always try to connect with them. I probably overstepped my bound when I heard that somebody is updating the record because they lost their husband or their wife. I probably talk on the phone a little bit longer than I'm supposed to. I just talk to them and let them know they're not alone. Right? Not that I'm just updating a record. That I know how hard it was for them to make that phone call. I know how hard it was to make that phone call. And the hardest part is that you're not only making the phone calls, right? But everything that was attached to them has ended. That's why I say my life has ended too. It is ended in the way of teaching them, helping them, walking beside them, Those are settling instead of calls to actively help them keep living, replaced by calls of removal, closure, explanations. The role did not disappear. It just really changed very violently. It changes the way that you move through the world, changes the way that an ordinary task feels, right? It's doing them with your child and then now doing them without your child. I remember having to go do my son's taxes right after. It's crazy because about a week before, ironically, he was like, Mom, I need you to show me how to do my taxes. I want you to show me how to do my taxes this year. I want you to show me. And I was getting ready to show him all this stuff lined up because I do taxes for everybody in the family. And I was waiting for him to be off work, right? We were supposed to do it that week, right? I was going to show him how to do his taxes that week. He's so excited. Get to learn something new. I got to teach him something this time instead of him teaching me something because he was just so smart. But I was going to teach him how to do his taxes that week. I didn't get to show my son how to do his taxes for the first time. Something ordinary, right? Something simple. Something simple. So instead, I had to take his taxes somewhere to do them because I didn't know how to do taxes for my child because he was not here anymore. That broke me too. It changes the way that your body carries stress. It changes the way that your heart understands reality. Trauma is not just that one moment. It's not the one moment that everything shattered. Trauma is being forced to also function inside of something your heart, your mind, your being cannot fully absorb. People don't always see that part. They may see you make the phone call. They may see you handle what needs to be handled. They don't see what it cost you. They don't see how it shatters you. Not everyone understands those moments of reality in a parent's heart colliding at the same time. That is why losing a child, it's not just that your heart broke. It's not this that you're sad. It's not this that you miss them. It's not the simple little things that go to losing anyone that you love. It breaks the structure of the life you are standing inside the wreckage. Because when your child, when their physical presence is gone, it's the life that you were still living with them. The future you thought you still had room to unfold. The ordinary task of being a parent. The things that you were still hoping for them. The conversations that you thought were still there. That old life gone. No matter how much you reach for it, you can't get it back. And yet the world just expects you just to keep moving, right? They don't understand the magnitude of what has been completely destroyed. But yet it still expects answers, still expects decisions, it still expects updates, it still expects you to function as normal, it still expects you to put a smile on your face, it still expects you to do your things you need to do, it still expects you to function. But child loss is not normal. Sudden traumatic child loss is not normal. And being forced to carry all of these brutal tasks while we are still in shock is not normal. So if you are someone who has walked through this and still struggles with the weight of it, doesn't mean you're weak. It has been a year officially since February 18th and 3 months. April. So a year and 3 months. I am still struggling. I think it gets harder. I really do. Because then you start going, well, maybe we can do this with, and then you just stop. Because the thing that you were planning your idea around with, that with is your child. That you would have made this plan for or with. It's just not the same. It leaves scars deep inside of you. Well, one thing that I know for sure is that all of this here in 3 months, one thing that I know for absolutely sure is that I would not be sitting here talking to y'all, being able to do what I'm doing without God. God is the only thing that is holding me up. Like I said before, I know where my child is. I just wish he hadn't got there before me. Bible says that to lean not onto your own understanding, right? Because while I'm sitting here trying to figure out, I can't lean onto my own understanding. I don't know that much. I don't see what God saw. I don't know what God knows. Sometimes faith is not loud. Sometimes faith is just trusting God in the things you cannot see. Because this I definitely cannot see. But I also know that I have to trust Him in the most impossible things ever. And that's pretty much what I wanted to say this week, right? Is that losing a child, the world still expects you to do things that nobody thinks about, right? Things you gotta still sit with, things that still hurt, things that are still devastating, while everyone around you just thinks you've just completely lost your mind. But I would have to say that if I didn't have God, I would probably be curled up under this desk right now. I'd probably be curled up in the bed, questioning everything in my life. I don't know, guys. All right. Some of these talks are kind of structured and some are not. But you know what? Grief is not structured. It's messy. This is life, real life. 1 minute you're okay. Next minute you don't even know where you are. Right? I can sit here. One of the hardest parts, right? Is that I still can't fully comprehend any of it. Right? Like I see it's been a year and 3 months. But then at the same time, I think it's been a year, 3 months? What? Huh? That doesn't even make sense. Like felt like it just happened or hasn't even happened at all. Right? Can't tell you how many times I text my son, right? Because I text my son. I can't tell you how many times I text my son and just sitting there going, Cody, you want to answer me? Right? Wait for him to change back to read. Just in there thinking, why is he not answering me? Do I need to call him? Is he awake? Right? And then I go, oh, right. That, did that really happen? That day really happen? And then you just sit there and just stare at your phone right? And you're like, who gets that? Right? Who gets that? You've gone through that, guys. Comment down below. Show me I'm not alone. Because where I'm surrounded with feels like I'm alone. Comment with some of the things that get you, right? There's the paperwork. These are the conversations. What was your hardest part? What is your hardest part? Let me know. So if this message has spoke to you in any way, whether you're walking through grief, trauma, child loss, or just trying to survive, everyone is just judging you on how you have to survive. Subscribe to my channel, right? Walk with me. I'm here each week, whether I make any sense or not. Because, I gotta talk. Like I said, I gotta talk. And I know I'm not alone. So if this has helped you, or you think it may help somebody else that you know, share. Because it helps get this message out to the people that are sitting in their car or sitting up in the bed, 3 o'clock in the morning. Missing their child. Let us know we're not alone. And that's another reason why I do my songs and stuff, because songs have the ability to reach you in places that something else can't reach. So all my music is under the Broken Beyond Repair. And it's all part of this story, all part of my son's story, all part of God's story, all part of our journey. About grief, faith, heartbreak, survival, and the God that still is holding on to us. Those are what my songs are about. About the fights that we have with the world, the mental things going on, the world trying to take our children from us. I see so many kids, parents so lost because their kid is not here anymore. Somehow the world had their hand in that. Some way, shape, or form. They're taking our babies. I got some songs about that too. So again, you can find my link. I'm on the YouTube, Music, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, I don't know, whatever all the radio thingy-majigers are. Links on there. It doesn't cost anything to download them. They're all free. As far as that goes, I'm not making any money off of it, so it's just there to listen to, right? If it helps you, free to use whatever you want to use, because that's the whole purpose of what I'm doing, is to be able to help someone use something that God is helping me create to help somebody else, right? Let somebody else know that they're not alone, because this is lonely. So my description is in the thingy below, or on one of my pages, the YouTube or the Facebook, on there, about where all my songs get released at. It's a hyperfollow. Yeah, hyperfollow is what distributes all my music on there, and I have like 20 different songs releasing at certain times for like anniversary dates, and I got some more coming out. But because they're all free, download them. Do what you want to with them. As far as that goes, just don't destroy them. All right. So, like I said, if this video has helped you, share, like, subscribe. Help get the word out. Share it with somebody who may be sitting up at 3 a.m. questioning everything in life. Been there, done that. Anyway, guys. So I have moved my show to Friday around 9:15. So that's what kind of like pushed it to, I think that's the time frame that I'm going to stick with is Friday nights at around 9:15. It'll air. And I always watch the show and comment with the comments. Usually it's my little sister blowing it up, but feel free to comment as far as that goes. But I am always watching live on there to respond to anybody who has questions. So it's good. So hey guys, 9:15 Friday night. Going forward, and if I make any executive decisions to change that date, I'll let you know. But for Kody, I look to the moon, trees, and the stars. Now all the way to heaven. For Kody, because you love Batman. Same bad time, same bad chance. Bye guys. Have a good one. Praying for you. Pray for me.